Major Championships, the very top of the mountain. A stage that's always celebrated the best there is on the lanes.
We are watching greatness.
We've seen the memorable and the iconic. We've seen stars shine.
What a great, great match.
We've crowned bowling's kings.
Players champion.
But with every reign comes a question. Who's next? Who will carry the torch? Today we welcome that next generation in this sport.
He hasn't missed.
Promising talent, bright-eyed and determined, standing on the doorstep of their first major title.
Oh God, a break!
This torch, it's not given, it's taken.
Kevin McCune.
The 2025 PBA Players Championship starts now on Fox.
We welcome you to David Small's Jack 60, hosting a PBA Tour Major Championship for the first time ever. It is rocking in Jackson, Michigan, and the Players Championship hangs in the balance. We are guaranteed drama today on Fox because our five-man stepladder features 4 men at the age of 25 or younger, 4 men who have never won on the PBA Tour. Doubles teammates, today their opponents, Kevin McCune and Foy Jr. will start us off, then Alec Keplinger, Ryan Barnes, the son of the great Chris Barnes, and 20-year-old Ethan Fiore. He holds the torch as the #1 seed. Oh, folks, it's going to be a great day in Major Championship number 4 of 5 on our season. I'm John Fanta. He is the Hall of Famer, Randy Peterson. Will join Kimberly Pressler in a few moments. Randy, 4 young men at the age of 25 or younger. If you were in their shoes, what would you be thinking with $100,000 on the line?
Well, John, I would do what any responsible 25-year-old would do with $100 grand. I'd invest. Are you kidding me? I'd throw a hell of a party.
Well, it's going to be a hell of a party no matter who wins this one. And for Ethan Fiore, this is a guy who has known the pressure of this tour season because he only went 7 rounds with E.J. Tackett earlier this season in a roll-off.
Yeah, he's kind of shown that he can handle pressure on the PBA Tour. As you mentioned, the longest roll-off in PBA history going up against the world #1. It was just a stubborn 7-pin that ended his run. But, you know, today is a completely different story for Ethan. It's the biggest day of his young career, and we've seen throughout sports what pressure can do to athletes. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles this kind of pressure today.
The man that doesn't seem to know any pressure brings the power, brings the confidence, the authority. And as we look at our Bowl TV highlights, you're going to see the greatness of Kevin McCune, the 2023 Players Champion.
And it was a human wrecking ball last night, winning all 4 of his matches, taking out Nick Pate, Simonson, Sterner, and Belmonte. The only close match was a 1-pin match against Sterner. That was match number 3. Everything else was in the 240s for Kevin. He was slinging wood all night long. He is the only champion on today's telecast. We'll see if he can bring that experience and climb the ladder one more time.
If you like a slugger of a bowler, a guy who just constantly brings power, you have come to the right place. But how about the dynamic of McCune facing his doubles partner, the senior statesman here today, Tim Foy Jr. Kimberly Pressler is with them both.
So, Kevin, we just saw footage of you climbing the stepladder last night, but today is a little bit different because in order to advance, you got to take down your doubles partner and one of your great friends. So what is that like? Because this is the first time you guys are going head-to-head.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, but I'm going to treat him as anybody else, and hopefully I beat him by 100, and that's his age, so, I mean, that'd be fitting for him.
Good luck to you today. Clearly, these two have a friendly rivalry going on, and he just made jokes about your age last night and today. So how do you use that as motivation against him today?
I mean, if I bowl his weight, he can't beat me, so that's the goal today.
And just between you and me, how badly do you want to beat him for bragging rights alone?
I want dinner tonight, so I'm going to beat him.
And good luck to you today as well.
Thank you.
Wow.
It is on like Donkey Kong.
Oh, man. The stage is set. Tim Foy Jr. not holding anything back against one Kevin McCune. And Randy, Kevin told us, I'm just really trying to get to the pocket as much as I can without overdoing anything. If I can get to the pocket on this pattern, being able to use my speed and rev rate, I know I'm going to strike.
Well, remember to start last night in our opening match where he big forward out of the gate. This time it's the 9-10. And something we didn't see last night, Kevin starting with urethane.
Kevin, the Players Champion in 2023, also is the number 9 seed. And cleans it up. Well, Tim Foy Jr., Randy, what a year for this guy.
Best year ever.
Sixth TV show. What do you attribute his success to?
Confidence. He started seeing a better picture, started to gain some success out here, and with that, a newfound confidence.
38 years of age. The 10.
I got my 9 out.
And third at the World Championship, RP, he put the pressure on E.J. Tackett in their showdown there. Tackett would win. If any of the pros on today's show bowl a perfect game, everyone in America can receive a free game of bowling courtesy of Go Bowling. To pre-register, visit gobowling.com and sign up for the Go Bowling Free America promotion. Tim told us yesterday, he goes, at this point, it's not a matter of if I win. I'm now in the confidence factor of when I win.
Going with, hang on one sec, Black Pearl urethane.
And a strike for Foy.
Yeah, once again, using Black Pearl urethane. Both players starting with the urethane balls early. Sandblasted urethane ball. See the oil ring on it, not a lot of flare.
Back to McCune. Bit of a slow start, and he's fortunate here.
This pattern's so flat that the players try to use urethane in practice to stretch the pattern out, drag some oil down towards the head pin as a nice break trip in the 4 out, only leaving the 9. But they're staying in it, at least thus far in game 1.
Jason Belmonte, the great Belmo, told us earlier this week, this is an all or nothing pattern. So back-to-back spares for McCune.
17 for 17 for the week for Kevin as we take a look at our oil pattern.
Yes, powered by Kegel, the Don Carter 37 feet.
And again, it's really flat side to side. So the players use urethane early. That's the red line. They try to play in the track to drag some oil down. But when I say flat, it's side to side, this side right to left, which is very flat for the players to start with. And so dragging that oil down is helping to try to create some hold.
Can he create that here? He's having a tough time right now.
He's looking over at strike track numbers just off the side. And he's probably going to get out of that urethane ball in frame 4.
6 of 6 this week on the 3-6-10 and make it 7 of 7.
Here we got our great numbers, our great stats week in and week out from our dear friends at Lane Talk. For more information, head on over to lanetalk.com and feel free to download the free app.
We started this week with 172 entrants. It's a major grind to be on this show. After 16 games, they cut the field down to 86. E.J. Tackett did not make the first cut. Shows you how tough it is. Then 43 after 8 more games. Then 16 after 8 more games before round-robin play as Foy strikes.
Yeah, 48 games in total just to get to last night and today. As we take a look profile, Tim Foy having a career year. No thumb in it. Two-handed specialist. And he's poised and ready to win. Six televised finals this season.
Amazing.
Oh, beauty
That's
there.
just smooth from Tim Foy. Look at that versus the ideal. Totally on target.
Real likable guy Tim Foy is, and it's nice seeing him bowling well. Went through the qualified third just to get into the exempt portion of the tournaments this season, as Kevin McCune is using IQ Tour 78U. And now it's a ball change.
And with that ball change, similar fate for McCune, who's battling it here with the 2-4.
Went from the urethane to an XL. We saw him lose the pocket in match 3 and somehow survive getting by Jason Sterner last night.
That was unbelievable. He was down by over 40 pins halfway through. But 2 years ago, Kevin McCune emerged in New Jersey. He swept Jacob Buttroff in 3 games to win his first career title in the season's final major. At that point, he became the first player to win their first career title at a major since Chris Vai at the 2021 United States Open. Just an amazing run, especially when you consider the fact that he had to go through E.J. Tackett and Anthony Simonson as well. He's in that same Cubs jersey today.
Oh, no.
And he is still without a strike.
Well, I said it after frame 3, and he looked over his ball reps as well, acknowledging the fact that he was going to get out of the urethane ball. He did. Good shot here, but the ball goes right by the 9-pin.
And hasn't left an open, but for McCune, battling it right now after the ball change. Back to Tim Foy Jr. Seaford, Delaware. Served as a ball caddy for Parker Bone III at the 1997 Brentwood Classic. That's because Tim's dad and Parker grew up together.
Yeah, Tim was just a kid.
Told us, my parents bowled every night. So from the age of 5, I was bowling almost every night.
Another good one. Right now, Tim Foy taking McCune out behind the barn.
He sure is. Well, hey, Randy, the way he talked going into it, he better.
And you got to respect your elders, John. You should know that. Sitting next to me.
Love your RP. Quite a start. He did say to us, he goes, I knew if I made match play round robin, I would be here. I'd be on the show. And that's that confidence that you just spoke of. He is in a groove. Told us, I got to get out the gate with a good start today. He's done just that.
Great start. Great start for Tim Foy Jr.
Foy and Fuego in our opening match of the Stepladder Finals with this piece of hardware on the line. Who will take home the Players' Championship? The elder statesman Foy setting the tone on Sunday. The PBA on Fox is sponsored by Go Bowling. For friends and family fun, log on to gobowling.com to find a center near you. Welcome back to David Small's Jack 60 in Jackson, Michigan. Kevin McCune down 47 without a strike, while Tim Foy has 5 in a row.
The exact same amount he was down last night in match 3 against Jason Sterner. Oh boy.
splits.
Yeah, it's going to get worse.
This has been a nightmare for McCune. 2, 8, 10.
Just never matched up. Started with the urethane ball. That didn't look good. And the obvious adjustment is to go to reactive resin. And he has just not found the right combination. Oh, my goodness.
Almost. He came awfully close. Well, for a guy who looked so great last night and was locked in, just shows you come back today and took a lot just to make this step ladder, and it has been all Foy with mom and dad looking on. Dad, a legend in his own right, Eugene.
And Eugene's dad, Don.
Yes.
Grandpa.
Get the 9 out.
He did.
That's more like it. Buddy is in a really steep hole. To your point, though, Eugene, Don, Dad, Grandpa, with Kevin winning the Players 2 years ago, first 3-generation PBA Tour champions, the McCune family.
Pretty incredible.
How about the confidence that this man is bowling with right now? Oh, God.
Hold on. All right, no split. Probably make a move in, but that was just slightly left to target. He's been chasing it a little bit left on the left lane. Started around 16, is around 17 and a half, almost 18 on the left lane.
Breaks up a streak of 5 straight strikes. 3 of 4 this week on 3-6-10. Tour average 80%. And converts.
All right, good cover. Now let's get out of the floor real quick to PBA champion and tour rep Mike Wolf. Mike, the urethane ball looks pretty good early. How long can Tim stay in it?
I think probably one more frame. If we can get a big enough lead, we'll get some practice shots here in the last couple of frames.
All right, Mike, thanks. So you heard him say it. Get one more shot out of this urethane, big enough lead, and then he's going to look at reactive resin for game 2. Yeah.
And fortunate. But that is far from the ideal. .7 off on the breakpoint board for Foy. Fortunate to just leave that.
A lay down area right around 16 to about 11. With reactive, that's going to change a bunch. He's going to have to move in at least an arrow. And here's another ball change for Kevin McCune, phase 2.
Multiple ball changes for McCune, and this is the second time.
Another 2-8-10 on the right lane. Can't get anything to come up and around the corner. And now this is going to allow Tim Foy to look at some other options.
Sums it up. Guy who had seemingly everything figured out last night, and
he just threw that off of his right foot.
Yeah, he did. Well, quite the family history, though, for the McCune clan. It is really amazing to think about when you look at Don and a legendary 1973, and the 8 career titles, a Hall of Famer. Eugene with 3 titles. And at the age of 25, Kevin has a bright present and future.
Yeah. Didn't Don win like 6 titles one year?
He did.
I thought that was pretty good.
And 68 really starting to come on, did Don McCune. Kevin accepting the reality here as we're dealing with a mechanical issue right now. But for these two, they have so much respect for each other. Yes, they were joking around before we got rolling, but 2 guys that certainly are great friends and Kevin will now be rooting on Tim.
Yep.
As Tim tries to get his first win. So we are guaranteed, folks, with Tim Foy on his way to a win, a first-time PBA Tour winner. Match number 2 ahead. A reminder that the PBA continues next weekend with the 5th and final major of the year, the PBA Tournament of Champions, powered by 1800 Tequila. Coverage begins Saturday at 5 Eastern, live on FS1 with the play-in round, all leading up to the championship Stepladder finals next Sunday at 3 Eastern on Fox from historic AMF Riviera Lanes in Fairlawn, Ohio. That was Marshall Kent winning the 2024 TOC when he climbed the stepladder to the championship. And we also have a very special weekend ahead in Akron with this Hall of Fame class of 2025, the real deal. Bill O'Neill won the Players last year. Sean Rash, what a career he has had. Dave Schroeder, his contributions to television, and Randy Peterson's roommate, George Branham III, the first African-American to win a PBA Tour title.
Yeah, what a night that's going to be, and what an honor to be a presenter. It'll be my 40th Tournament of Champions dinner and award ceremony, so I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be really powerful stuff, and you and Stoner will have us covered on the TOC. We have more from the Players Championship ahead on Fox. Welcome back to David Small's Jack 60, and yes, this is the scene here. They are currently working on a mechanical issue that has held up the conclusion of our first match with Tim Foy Jr. on the way to a victory over Kevin McCune and booking a ticket with Alec Keplinger. Ryan Barnes, the 2 seed, Ethan Fiore, the 1 seed in the Players Championship. Randy Peterson, just part of life sometimes in events.
Yeah, it's a ball return issue right up front, and sometimes it happens.
As we get a chance to talk about the new PBA Elite League. Battle of the Brands pits bowling ball manufacturers. You see Motive on top with Storm in second against each other in a season-long competition. So get this, each brand has a full roster of staff players, but can choose only 5 to represent them prior to each singles event on the tour. Cumulative PBA points earned from each team's 5 designated players will be the total score for each brand event to event, determining the overall standings. It's like fantasy bowling all season long until the live Baker Competition Championship in 2 weeks. Pretty cool. And Motive on top with Storm in second, Brunswick in third right now. Yes, that is your PBA Elite League Battle of the Brands standings. Players Championship in the balance, $100,000 prize as we continue to work through the mechanical issues. The road to the Indy 500 hits the streets of Long Beach for the 50th running of the Long Beach Grand Prix. The fastest racing on earth continues today at 4:30 Eastern on Fox. Full day of sports on Fox, and it looks like our mechanical issue may, knock on wood, may be getting resolved. From David Small's Jack 60, we're just getting started. Players Championship rolls on next. Well, welcome to your first PBA event, young lady. That is awesome. It looks like we're back in business from David Small's Jack 60. They worked through some mechanical issues. We had a shredded belt that they had to work through. It was not a small issue, and that led us to about a 15-minute delay. Kevin McCune, well, he's smiling. Hey, he's a good sport. Not everybody would be after all that, and after the way that things have gone down for him in this matchup. Just didn't have his A game in this against Tim Foy. Could never really find it despite multiple ball changes. And there's a strike. Heck of a night last night for Kevin. We got to see brilliance.
Yeah. Had 240 plus in 3 of his 4 matches, and just never saw the right shape today.
All this guy seems to be doing, his opponent, is seeing the right shape. Tim Foy on his 6th show of the year, 6 top 10 finishes. And he's going to have a top 4 finish, bare minimum, this afternoon. That's a beauty.
Is it bad I can strike out and still not blow your weight? I can strike out and still not blow your weight.
Not only is it a beauty, it's presented by Dude Wipes.
Went to the reactive resin, made a big change, moved in, and slaps the 9 out late.
Well, he is advancing on to meet 24-year-old Alec Keplinger, second-year pro. And all that stands in Tim's way now, it only gets younger for him in terms of his competition. A 24-year-old, then a 22-year-old in Ryan Barnes, if he were to advance, and then a 20-year-old Ethan Fiore is our #1 seed.
Nothing but youngsters in the way.
But you said it, Randy, how much of this sport is mental and having that confidence factor. And right now, Tim is seeing the lanes as well as anybody.
Have to wait and see what ball and what shape he decides to go with in his next match. Kevin two-handed. He can pretty much do everything. He can throw it overhand if you want it.
Amazing. And you know what, Randy? I know that you care about this, the integrity of the sport and whatnot. Credit to these two guys, because it was a quirky delay, weird things, and they handled it like two gentlemen.
Absolutely. They handled it like pros.
They sure did. Here's our step ladder. Tim Foy Jr. advances. Alec Keplinger awaits. And now this guarantees that whoever wins the Players will be a first-time champion. Oh, by the way, there's $100,000 that hangs in the balance. Alec Keplinger awaits. We'll tell you about him as the Players' Championship rolls on to match #2 next. Welcome back to David Smalls, Jack 60 for the PBA Players Championship. The 2025 edition will bring a first-time PBA Tour champion, Tim Foy Jr., making his 6th TV appearance of the year. And he beats Kevin McCune 235 to 185. Really never close with those 5 consecutive strikes. And McCune starting slow and never able to rally. And so now it's Alec Keplinger. And he may only be 24 years of age, but Alec, well, he's already had a successful career because this kid was part of a Wichita State team that ended up winning the 2022 PBA Intercollegiate event, where he was teammates with one Ryan Barnes. And the Shockers team, what a group they had. TJ Rock finished 14th in the Players Championship this week. Nick Summer, he's now selling real estate, but he had a very successful college career. Spencer Robarge finished 3rd at the Masters back in 21, a PBA junior winner. And then you got Barnes and Keplinger, who are 2 of the 4 left standing, RP.
Yeah, that's a pretty lethal lineup right there in college sports. A great team.
Alec graduated from Wichita State in 2023, 3 NCBCA All-American selections, 2 intercollegiate team championships in that 2022 PBA Collegiate Invitational Championship. And so now it's Keplinger versus Foy. Well, what'd you see from Foy in matchup #1 that he's got to continue?
Well, he's making a ball change, and he's going to a different shape. So he's looks like he's going to throw a hypnotize, and so a much more responsive, reactive ball.
With that ball change, and the split.
Seen a lot of 4-9s this week at Jack 60. Remember, folks, if you think you're hearing something a little different with the pinfall, these pins are synthetic. And there's a little bit different sound.
At 4-9.
Oh, what a cover.
Oh, Foy is on fire.
Thought I hooked by it. Move more.
That's a clean wipe. And it's presented by Dude Wipes. Pretty.
Just how you draw it up right here, just cutting the 4 into the 9. Again, these pins, little bit different sound. We typically use wood pins with a Surlyn cover.
Alec Keplinger begins with a Brooklyn.
All right, well, they'll being shots Brooklyn, but let's take a look at this great swing. You notice how the ball and the swing come out and away from the right shoulder and then tuck up underneath, real close to the ankle. Great hand at the bottom. Just a beautiful swing.
So I got to throw the ball to the right, make sure I get to the right, not in the gutter. Try to stretch it a little bit better as this goes on. And he said, I don't want to rush things.
He's going with mesmerize.
Now that he's been on TV a couple times, he feels like he's getting a better rhythm for it. That was in rhythm. That's more like it for Keplinger.
Needs a win to get into the TSC next week. Tim Foy is in, but only in the PTQ, not the main event, by virtue of being a regional champion.
Third at the World Championship, third at the Pete Weber, Missouri, third at the Illinois Classic. Tim Foy is having his best year of his career by far. He said he accomplished his goals by week 3 of the season, and he's just been smashing new milestones ever since. Confident, but in the most humble way. He said, I'm ready to win. And we said, well, what would you pinpoint it? What would you pinpoint as why you're having success? He said, if I spend time trying to think about that, things could go backwards for me. I'm not thinking about it. And Foy is rolling. By the way, a treat for all of you after our delay due to our mechanical issue. The remainder of our matches will be uninterrupted. So get ready for a lot of drama and a lot of bowling to decide who will take home $100,000 and the Players' Championship. Keplinger was over at Kent State yesterday watching his brother in action. Family of bowling.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
How about the light blower 4-7? That's not something you see every day. Check this out. That's crazy. Headpin went to the left sidewall and just died in the left gutter.
Not often are you genuinely perplexed or surprised. You were there.
You don't see that.
No. And covers. With more on Alec Keplinger, here's Kimberly.
Well, the Keplinger family is splitting cheer duties today because Alec's brothers, 12-year-old Isaac and 5-year-old Jameson, are bowling in Flint at the Michigan Youth State Tournament. Now, while his mom, dad, fiance, and about 20 others are here in attendance for Alex, his extended family, his aunts, uncles, and nearly 15 others are from his hometown, are with his brothers cheering them on.
Thank you, Kimberly. Mom, Sandra Jo Shirey, PWBA Class of 2024 Hall of Famer. Alec, 1 of 4. And a 10.
These synthetic pins, they fly, but they tend to stay low. And I think that's what created that rip rack 4-7 on the right lane, and then that messenger in front.
Alec,
go ahead, buddy. 4th
at the Cheetah this year.
Yep.
4th at the Mike Albee, Nevada Classic. Beat Jesper Svensson and then lost to Ethan Fiore, who was our #1 seed.
I was wondering if you were going to mention that, yeah.
Creates an interesting dynamic.
Could.
As the afternoon goes on.
It sure could.
How many times did you laugh yesterday talking to this guy?
To Tim?
Yeah.
He's always a great listen. He's just such a laid-back, casual guy. Nice to see him having success this season.
It sure is. It's just a beautiful stroke from Tim Foy.
And that's the break point. That's where we watch the ball coming off the end of the pattern and shaping into the pocket. The lead now 13-4.
You were so impressed with him at the World Championship when he struck out in the 10th. And he said, I made the best bowler in the world nervous. I put the pressure on E.J. Tackett. And, of course, does E.J. Tackett really have nerves? Because all E.J. did was say, all right, I'll answer. But Tim said when you go through something like that, you can handle just about anything.
Hook off of it.
Oh, it did.
It sure did, but the call didn't come into number 10.
Hook off it. He got a little bit wide, and it came back. That's a good sign. That tells the player that I've got a little mistake room to the right.
Comforting to know that?
Absolutely. Loosens the swing up, knowing you can miss a little bit. The hardest thing for any player on tour, and I don't care if you're E.J. Tackett, Belmont, or Tim Foy, if you don't feel like you can miss the target you're looking at by a board left or right of it, you can't pry it off. Feel like you're bowling in a phone booth. Imagine if they took the strike zone and shrunk it by 50%.
That's what Jason Sterner told us yesterday. He said that's what you feel like. Now, what's interesting about this pattern is, and players told us about this, is that they said you could experience some hardship early, but the things can start to rev up and scoring could be higher late.
Yeah, you're right, John. And a lot of that has to do with how the players break it down in practice. So if enough urethane goes down the lane early enough and long enough, and the players stay far enough to the right longer, they can develop something. What happens a lot on the PBA Tour is that when the players don't have any friction to throw into, go ahead, Johnny.
There's Alec's fiance, Hope, PWBA Rookie of the Year.
To finish my thought, when the players don't have friction to throw into or any hold area, they tend to move in very deep, very early.
Keplinger picking up steam.
Well, after the opening, Brooklyn, he's really made some nice shots. Now he just needs to carry a bit. Remember the light 4-7 and then a 10-pin after it, but now he's doubled again here in the 5th and 6th.
Back to Foy. 2024 PBA East Region Player of the Year. For regional titles. And Tim is fortunate with the way that broke in.
Little grabby and a miss left.
1-1 for that.
Got to get the ball out of your hand clean, whether you're using your thumb or not. And when the players grab it at the bottom, typically that ball is going to miss the inside.
Winner of this match gets Ryan Barnes. And Ethan Fiore, the 20-year-old, the youngest of this group, is the #1 seed. Foy with a beauty.
Yep. They got one shot. The last shot he threw on the left lane where he got it wide and it came back. He left the 10-pin, but that told him something about that left lane. And here he capitalizes on the great Brooklyn break that he got in the 6th.
And so Foy with 5 out of 7 strikes. Keplinger trying to match him right now. Alec Keplinger. And leave one here. Runner-up for 2024 Rookie of the Year. Nate Purchase winning the Harry Golden PBA Rookie of the Year last season.
You got to get it to the right, but not too far right. There is OB outside of that, say, 6-7 board down lane. Might be able to get it back from 5.5. No farther right than that.
Our fourth major of the year, the Players' Championship. E.J. Tackett winning the U.S. Open and the World Championship. And then Gary Haynes winning the USBC Masters. So we'll have a third different major champion of 2025. And Keplinger, that was a beauty. Nicely done in the 8th.
Max scores right here, folks. Well, wait for that graphic to come back up. That power, big guy, man. Strong, good athlete. A lot of hand. Isn't power pretty much everything in sports these days?
Sure is.
Remember back in the day when Greg Maddux used to do what he did, throwing it at about 83 miles an hour? Not anymore.
There's that max score you were talking about, 269, 246 for Foy.
Well, that was a good one.
Foy just punches right back. He's got the edge.
And again, the break point about 7 to 8. Left lane looks like it's hooking a little bit more.
He's made a number of TV appearances. This his 6th. Semifinals a bunch of times, but he's never made into the championship match. Trying to book a semifinal ticket here. He said, I've got to maintain the fresh on this pattern.
Adjusting his finger tape. Took a timeout. Again, there is a 25-second shot clock. Good. And that is now restarted. Big shot to set up the 10th. Oh, we got it in.
Sure did.
And now look at how the max score has changed. Cover here, he can't be shut out.
The cover, that 7 still moving and shaking, and he does, but you just said it. Everything just shifted with one shot to the max. Can't get shut out, though, with 247 being his max. Keplinger at 246, and a big one for Alec to apply the pressure here in the 9th.
Strike out and make Foy show up. That's the only thought going through his mind right now.
On this right side, 2 of 4 on strikes.
No way.
Whoa. Okay. It's nearly nightmare.
That's about as far right as you can get it. That one got back and it was almost disaster, but not a very good break. This ball peels all the way off the 4.5 board down lane and rips the entire rack, but the 7 still stands.
You see those max scores change in the blink of an eye. Now it's going to need some help. And a re-rack.
His max score is 226. Tim Foy Jr. is already in the 230s. He needs to strike out and then hope that Tim Foy opens in the 10th.
He has struck all but once on the left side. That has been the better side for him. Not the first time he's faced a clutch situation. He's the best college player in the country 3 years ago in Wichita State. Keplinger. Oh, boy.
And you can see why he
left.
He said what he said after he let go of it. Just a big left miss. We talk about the break point down lane. That was at 10.
Tough.
Tim Foy moving on once again.
Everything about Tim yesterday felt like that he believes that this is the week. This is the week that he breaks through. So many almost this season, the best of his career. But you just feel like you're banging on that door. And things get no easier because it's Keplinger's college teammate in Ryan Barnes, who also feels as though he's due, but he has to exercise some demons on television and put it all together this afternoon. No. A strike for Keplinger. And for Tim Foy. What a run this guy has been on this season. In rhythm, in motion, and Tim Foy is moving on to meet Ryan Barnes for a spot in our championship showdown.
Gonna look at another ball right here, Johnny.
The demeanor, the confidence, everything about this guy right now.
Yeah, 2 more matches. We'll see, Jai. Like I said earlier, he's poised to win.
Yes,
and
he is.
Throw it again.
I mean, what a season. 6
Throw that one
show.
again. Or the 5.
He's never, ever bowled for a title.
At the age of 38, 12th year as a pro, from PTQs to regionals to he embodies what the dream's all about, and maybe this is his time.
Earned his exemption for this season.
Hey, Tim, congratulations. You get to meet a 22-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Yeah, right?
Tim Foy onto the semis of the Players' Championship. Our updated stepladder. Foy getting right past McCune, saying goodbye to Keplinger, and now Ryan Barnes, the phenom, awaits Tim Foy. Ethan Fiore is the 20-year-old who turned pro at 17. He's the 1 seed. But with Ryan's dad, Chris, looking on, we'll tell you about this kid's talent, his skill set. An uninterrupted semifinal match is next. Welcome back to 2025 PBA Players Championship. The PBA is proud to have Bowlers to Veterans Link as the official charity of the PBA Tour. In today's BVL Salute to Veterans, we welcome retired U.S. Army Sergeant Howard Schweikert, who served for 12 years. Thank you for your service, Howard. To donate, go to bvl.org.
Thank you so much, Howard.
That is awesome. Welcome you back to Jackson, Michigan. And then there were 3 for the PBA Players Championship. Registration for the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships is now open to bowlers of all skill levels. The PBA LBC National Championships is returning to the Chicago area and includes a division for everyone. You can compete in singles as well as optional doubles and team events. Even combine your scores with the pros. Enter today at pba.com. Tim Foy Jr. at the age of 38, looking for his first PBA Tour title. Ryan Barnes at the age of 22, the phenom, the son of Chris Barnes, 19-time PBA Tour champion, takes center stage. We saw Ryan in the 2024 PBA Players Championship when he finished 3rd. 5th at the Scorpion, 5th at the Pete Weber Missouri Classic. Last 2 times on TV, not kind to Ryan. Can he do it today?
Been tough sledding his last couple outings.
133 and a 141 on TV. That's a different kind of start for RB. Five top 10 finishes for him, and now here is Tim Foy.
Last game, Tim Foy perfect on the right lane.
Where he starts here. With a strike. Perfection continues.
Eight in a row on the right lane now for Tim Foy Jr. But this match, he will finish on the left lane.
You could just feel it on the gates here. The things just intensified to another level. Again, what's on the line? $100,000. Somebody's life is going to change in the next hour. And for the three men that are still eligible for this title, they've never won on the tour. Brooklyn. That was left. And you just heard him mouth awful. Ryan Barnes, he was a basketball player, high level in high school. He thought, I'm going to be a college basketball player. But the offers, well, they didn't really come in. So he had a decision to make, RP. He said, you know what? I think I will try this bowling thing. And then the reps increased. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to go to Wichita. His parents said, why are you going to go there? They're the Duke basketball of bowling. You're not going to be on the varsity team. He wasn't as a freshman. Look at him now. Back-to-back jacks.
Ryan's playing the lanes completely different than the other players. He's a good 6 or 7 boards right of where Tim Foy is playing it. As we take a look from profile, young Ryan Barnes. The upper body parallel to the floor as he goes into the foul line. But the way Ryan is playing this pair early on is what he did Friday night when he destroyed him in match play.
And there's Dad, Chris, and Commissioner Tom Clark. Chris says that Ryan's rise has also reinvigorated him.
Going with exponent.
2 years after trading a basketball for a bowling ball, he was an All-American.
Well, you heard him say push. That means hold your head. Hold your line. It did. And just like we saw with Foy last game where he missed a little right and the ball got back, Ryan misses in, the ball holds its line, a great sign and a great message sent to him.
Foy loves that right side.
9 for 9.
Man.
That line that Ryan Barnes is playing, if he's got hold, he's going to be hard to beat. I think Ethan Fiore is going to play the lanes very similar to what Tim Foy's doing. And if that shot for Ryan holds up, he's going to have it all to himself.
Can Foy go back to back? Yes, he can. Nicely done.
Good rebound after the bad shot on that left lane for Tim.
It's interesting, when we talked with Ryan yesterday, we said, all right, what do you get from Dad? What do you get from Mom? He said, well, with Dad, talent, different technicalities and
his
whatnot.
mom wasn't too shabby.
No.
By the way, she's a Hall of Famer.
Mom's bowling this weekend.
And she's a psych major from San Jose State.
That's what he gets from Mom. Chris said, I envy my son because he's got Mom's qualities psychologically. I don't have those. I do not have those. There's a difference there.
Oh, boy. Ryan's going to be a handful.
Oh, boy, it's right.
You can forget that 130 and 140 his last two outings. Throw that out the window.
And take a look at the PBA playoffs points. Belmo, Foy, and Simonson. Belmo and Simo were in action last night. Ryan enters just on the outside at 17th. But a result, he's already into that top 12. with a third-place finish today at worst.
By the way, Mom Linda, she's out in Vegas bowling the Senior Queens right now.
Amazing.
How's that?
They're going to bowl together.
They're going to bowl together in the Lucy.
Ryan has been perfect thus far. It's the guy who finished 269th at the Masters. So we said, what'd you do since then? He goes, I practiced on this pattern. I worked and worked and worked. I got back at it. Talk about work paying off. Foy not blinking. He's in this battle too.
Another beauty by Tim Foy on the right lane. 10 in a row for him on that lane. He's got to keep striking because he's going up against the Von Ryan Express right now.
But you know what? If there's a guy who has the mentality to not get fazed by that, it's the mentality of this man in Foy.
Oh, boy.
Boy is right.
That ball came off the end of the pattern and then actually stopped and rolled out.
Wow.
Using that big engine ball, if you get it a little too up the back or get it right early, it's not going to come around the corner because it's spending a lot of energy, and so that's why that ball rolled out. It's a big ASIM. Asymmetrical core, big engine.
By the way, Ryan followed Mom and minored in psych at Wichita State. He majored in sports management.
Yeah. Rooms with his dad out here on tour.
Well, I asked, I said, do you ever coach Dad? He goes, of course I do.
Yeah. Dad helps him, he helps Dad.
That's a really cool dynamic, too.
Wow.
Oh, he's in that zone, America. He is in that zone.
And again, playing a part of the lane that's not being played by any other player. He's keeping his ball speed nice and fast and trapping it right into that track area. Just aboard inside a third arrow.
What did he tell us yesterday? I got in a part in the lane nobody else was playing, and I got a great look. Now, here's my question to you would be, well, why haven't other people tried to get in that part of it?
Because they don't throw it like him. You know, so Kevin McCune is one that could have, but it hadn't developed when he was in match number one. It has now.
Ryan Barnes through 7. All X's.
Whatever. First break.
Yeah, you got a good break. You got a good break.
Huge break. He's gotten away with a couple up the lane. That one was a big tug for Ryan, but it's still 7 in a row anyway. You shake it.
There's an element of luck at times. If you're going to win a major championship,
things have to go your way, man. I mean, you know the old saying, I'd rather be lucky than good.
Of course.
Shot. How many in a row is that for him on the right now? 11?
You would be correct, Randy. You are good at math. It was 7 coming in, so now, yes, with 4 more, it is 11. Now can he deliver it on the left side and keep the pressure on? And yes, he does. Tim Foy hanging in. Well, Ryan Barnes has the first 7 strikes toward bowling a 300 game. should he or any of the pros on today's show bowl a perfect game, everyone in America can receive a free game of bowling courtesy of Go Bowling. To pre-register, visit GoBowling.com and sign up for the Go Bowling Free America promotion.
So Ryan's mom just sent me a text that I'll share with you after this shot.
This is the best text I've seen in a while.
But only if he strikes.
That's better.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
He liked it, and it goes 210. I think the direction was good. I don't think it was very good out of his hand. Maybe a bit firm. Just a titch faster. Now he's looking to slide the 2 across into the 10.
First time he left this all week, and oh my goodness. Things just shifted in a massive way.
He's still okay. Can't be shut out.
But the way he was going, RP, the door just cracked open for Foy. What was that text you got?
I'll tell you if he strikes on this shot.
Okay. Good tease. He does. What's that text say?
Well, text from Mom Linda, who's watching. She said that Ryan uses his psych degree to room with his dad. Oh, we love you, Linda. Thanks.
That is awesome.
All right, back to action now. With that strike there, Ryan cannot be shut out no matter what Tim Foy Jr. does in the 9th and 10th.
Winner of this showdown meets Ethan Fiore. Tim, his 6th TV appearance of the year, but he's never made the finals. He's been in a bunch of semis. Now Foy on the right side, which is treating him so well. Bit of fortune, a lot of fortune versus the ideal line. Well left.
A guy that was locked in on that right lane. You would never expect him to throw a Brooklyn. But what a time to carry one. That was big. Puts him in the 230s. Ryan's in the 240s.
12 strikes in a row on the right, but that's not where he's going to finish here. He's back on that left side. 2 or 4 on the left. Foy.
Oh, man.
I wish the monitor wouldn't change in the middle of the approach like that.
I think he moved in a little on this shot here and maybe anticipating a little bit of transition. That ball never came around the corner. Got to cover it. Oh, my goodness. What a break. All right, he's going to be in the 230s. Ryan just going to need a mark.
And a re-rack here for Tim. Barnes trying to book a ticket to meet Ethan Fiore in what would be a showdown between a 22-year-old and a 20-year-old
Make him show up.
for a major championship. Yep. Can Foy apply some pressure?
Oh, God.
Look at that ball. That time he doesn't get it far enough. You can see the numbers here, and it goes Brooklyn. Right now, young Ryan Barnes, all he needs is a mark. But the last time up on the right lane, he left the 210 and opened. Bring your best.
We saw him last year in this event. He went on a run, and then it was stopped. Finished in 3rd. Now trying to book a ticket to the finals. 22 years of age.
Ryan Barnes is heading to our championship matchup.
Boy, was that pretty.
And a proud papa stands.
The other half of the Hall of Fame team. Dad Chris. Ryan's going to look at another ball here for his title matchup.
And by booking a trip to the title matchup now for the foreseeable future, Dad will do laundry.
Sorry, he's not going to look at another ball. He's going to stay with what he's put it back down. He's going to dance with the one he brung.
How about RP? A 22-year-old versus a 20-year-old for a major championship.
Don't remember the last time that's happened. Now there's a ball change right here.
Well, Ryan Barnes put on a show. Had a small block of adversity by leaving it open in the 8th, but recovered beautifully with 4 straight. Here's your stepladder. And then there were 2 after the run by Foy, denied by Barnes. It will be 1v2. Ethan Fiore, Ryan Barnes. Fiore, he said, I don't have a huge personality. I'm not a big gloater. There's some major bragging rights on the line. And $100,000 next. Welcome back to PBA Players Championship, and Saturday on Fox, reigning MVP Shohei Ohtani leads the Dodgers against Corey Seager and the Rangers, or Nolan Arenado and the Cardinals battle Juan Soto and the Mets. Check local listings for the game in your area. Saturday at 4 Eastern on Fox.
Go blue.
That's right. The frame of the game is presented by Beatbox.
Well, here's Tim Foy Jr. gets up in the 10th and leaves the bucket. The door's wide open for young Ryan Barnes. And that was probably his best shot of the game. Aced it, struck out the last 4 to move on to the title match.
And that is the frame of the game presented by Beatbox, the ultimate party in a box. Beatbox, what's your flavor? Please enjoy responsibly. And so it is all down to Ethan Fiore and Ryan Barnes for a major championship and $100,000. Your thoughts on this championship showdown?
Yeah, it's going to be whoever handles the nerves. I think the advantage has to go to young Ryan Barnes because he's got a game underneath his belt. He is playing a part of the lane that's different from everyone else. And so I think there's a little bit of an advantage to him. But again, it's going to all come down to emotions, who's able to handle it the best.
There is an unflappability factor with Ethan Fiore. He doesn't show much emotion for a 20-year-old.
We'll see.
Ooh, that's how you set the stage. Well, Randy Peterson, are you ready for some pressing questions?
Always.
Kimberly Pressler has them for us with today's topic, your best shot ever. Let's see it.
David, what would you say is the best shot that you have ever thrown?
My best shot was throwing the dirtiest messenger in the roll-off against Bill in Delaware for my first title to move on to the title match.
And this time for Kroll!
I was like 8 years old, and I was bowling my dad. I never beat him at this time, and I needed a strike to beat him, and I did. And it's still to this day the best shot I've ever thrown.
Probably like the 8th or 9th frame of the TOC against Bill O'Neill in title match where I had my hands raised up. I was halfway down the lane. That one was in my mind for a long time.
Chris, do you recall what the best shot you ever made was?
Oh, yeah, easily. I needed to strike the first one in the 10th to beat Patrick Allen at the U.S. Open. It's a shot I can recall at any moment, any time.
Got to be a strike.
One of the best shots of my life.
I don't know. I don't really think I'm like the opposite. I just remember bad shots. I don't remember good shots.
Why?
I don't know. They just live with you longer.
And what about the worst shot you've ever thrown?
Probably a few in the match that I just got done bowling. Maybe there was one 2 years ago in Indy.
Oh, come on!
Gave EJ a chance, and he took my green jacket from me.
What is the worst shot that you can remember at the top of your head that makes you cringe?
Oh, I double guttered to miss the cut at a JBT when I was like 15, probably maybe 16 or 17. Yeah, whole ride home in the car, silent. I think my parents made a bet with each other on how long it would take for me to start to talk to them. It was a while.
Those are your pressing questions presented by Go Bowling. Well, it is a 30-year anniversary of a different PBA Tour event. You've been on both sides. You said take some luck. And I think this is about the worst break that I certainly have ever seen. I know you would have to agree in this championship.
Oh, we're going to go back there, huh? Yeah.
Well,
Fond
let's do
memories.
it. 1995, Robert Morris College in Pittsburgh. Ernie Schlegel and Randy Peterson. Schlegel on the 10th with a strike. Randy needing to strike on the first ball of the 10th frame to have a chance for the win. And here it is, RP. It's unlucky of a stone 8 that you will see. And, well, Ernie had a certain reaction. What a gracious celebration by Ernie Schlegel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Johnny. I'm still in therapy over that.
That looks like me after one Cleveland Browns win. One.
I mean, hey, you know, it happens in our sport, and I did my job. I got up and I executed. I made a great shot.
Hey, that's why this man is going to the USBC Hall of Fame. Let's hear it for Randy Peterson, America.
Thanks, Johnny.
Good sport. One of the greatest to ever do it. Who is going to be the greatest in the Players' Championship? Fiore, Barnes, 20 years old versus 22 years old for 100K next.
This 20-year-old stands 10 frames away. 10 frames away from joining this history. 10 frames away from writing bowling's next great story. One game for a major championship. The 2025 PBA Players Championship Final starts now on Fox.
Oh, yeah. It's a major championship. It's $100,000. Get him, Ethan Fiore, 20 years of age, turned professional at 17. And he is with Kimberly Pressler, the #1 seed.
Ethan, you are sitting in the most enviable position. You're the #1 seed. You are one win away from winning your first title, and it might be a major. But here's the thing. You told us yesterday that you said you know you can handle the pressure that comes with being on the PBA Tour. So where does that confidence, where does that composure come from? Because you're just 20 years young.
It's kind of just my personality. I'm really calm. I love to sleep, so that also makes me very calm. But yeah, that's just where it comes from. I bowl all the time, so I got confidence in my ability to do this, and I'm just going to go out there and bowl and hope we get the win.
Good luck to you today.
Thank you.
How about that? Likes to sleep. Don't sleep on these two phenoms.
What's that like?
Yeah. Fiore and Barnes, the title showdown.
Neither one of these kids were alive when I left that solid 8, Johnny. Just saying.
Neither was I. Here is Ryan Barnes.
Wait, you weren't alive?
No. Sorry, Randy.
All right, same ball to start the title match for young Ryan Barnes.
In his zone. Messenger to start for Barnes.
Messenger sending a message early.
Tail to tape time. Wow, matched up in strike percentage.
Is there an advantage anywhere? Slightly for a strike after strike percentage for Ethan, and that's it. And man, if you could go back and watch the 7-frame roll-off that Ethan had against DJ Tackett last month.
Wow. The loft. And a 10.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Ethan is going with a 3-step approach to start. He uses 5 and then goes to 3. And he uses 3 to get his ball speed a little bit slower and to shape it more. We'll get you a full shot here in a minute. 3-step approach or 5.
Ethan said before coming out here, I wasn't confident on shorter lanes. But just the way he went through ball selection, reps,
Felt a groove, and yeah, it could have been worse. It's a spare.
Early on, Ethan playing this pair 10 boards hooking more than Ryan Barnes, going with a max thrill solid.
He said, look, there's no pressure for me. Everybody has these expectations built up when you enter a season. Now, there's a different level of pressure when you're in a championship matchup. But he said, I've already smashed what my expectations were heading into the year. Get right. Well, he started in a precarious position.
And one more time, taking a look at his approach. Here's the three-stepper. He's really trying to open up this pattern. First couple of frames early on in the title match.
Not ideal.
I don't think it is. I think the way Ryan's playing this pattern, the way the lanes are broken down, I think Ryan's line to the pocket is better.
I just got to get it off my hand.
Good cover.
It's a good reaction, too.
Yeah.
And it also gives us a chance to say hello to everybody at Maple Lanes, Lakeland, where there's a watch party happening.
Not far from where I live.
Johnny Laspina.
Love Johnny.
Hook lock.
Got a hook. Oh, boy. You see that break point board down lane at 4. And he's lucky the 10's not standing with the 248. Again, it's all about managing the emotions. Managing that heart rate.
I was just going to ask you.
That tendency for Ryan is to get fast, right? He likes to throw it. Too fast and to the right, it's going to do that.
Do you remember how old you were when you made your first TV appearance?
Yeah.
Push. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I knew he missed it left immediately.
And what was that like? How old were you?
I was 24, and I shot 153. And I did that against David Ozio. Tournament leader was Mike Durbin. This is in Tucson, Arizona. Ozio takes on Mike Durbin, title match. Durbin shoots 150.
Just a totally different vibe from anything else you'd ever done?
It's the same thing that Tim Foy's been going through, right? It's a learning process. So it's all the progression starts from learning how to cash, to making match play, to making shows, to learning how to win.
One of these two will be a winner, and for Barnes, after he looked unflappable in the semifinals, leaves the 4 here. And so things have shifted. Fiore with back-to-back spares. Barnes with an open on the second. And is able to spare here, but it's Fiore with the advantage early on. Ethan just 20 years of age. 14th at the World Championship. Both these guys were outside the top 130 at the USBC Masters. Top 3 at the Nevada Classic. That epic roll-off with Tackett. No! This is a nightmare. 410. Brutal.
I think it was Keplinger in his match with Foy where he left that light pocket ripper 4-7. That's kind of that hit there, but the 10 stands. There's no way that should be a split. No way that should be a split. That is a terrible break.
Brutal. When you look at those max scores as we hit the 4th. So both guys blinking here early on. We've had both of them have an open in the first 3.
Johnny, what were you doing when you were 17?
Let's see here.
You turning pro?
Nope, definitely not. I was mowing lawns at Mr. Busta's, my next door neighbor, making $25 every 2 weeks, I guess.
This kid's trying to make 100 grand.
Yeah, nice life, kid.
Good shot there. Nice rebound after that bad break. Ethan Fiore playing the lanes deeper than anybody has played this pattern today. He's way in, lofting it, and trying to get the ball to the right zone down lane. And you can see the side rotation. When you're covering that much territory, that many boards, you have to have side rotation to get the ball to come off the end of the pattern and get back to the pocket. When you're going straighter, more up the back, more roll. Like that.
Beauty from Barnes. Good response by Ryan.
So again, a good note for the folks watching. When you're trying to go straighter, it's better to have your hand more up the back of the ball and control that roll. Having a little more end over end will control the down lane reaction. When you're trying to open up the pattern, open up the lane condition, more side roll.
Said he's had a lot of conversations with Mark Baker, with Steve Jacobs.
Coach Bakes. Best ever.
About his game.
Mark Baker, PBA champion. Regarded as one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the world.
That was left.
Bad shot.
Yeah, he got lucky. He got lucky in a big way there.
Yeah, nice break, just leaving a three. A good 2 boards left to target.
And he talked to his dad last year when he made the show and the players. And he actually faced his dad. And Chris said, it just occurs to you, man, it's a better emotion, it's a better feeling than any of my 19 titles. When your son can do it. Especially a kid that 2-3 years ago, they didn't know this was within the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
He was going to play basketball.
Ryan's worked his tail off to get to this point.
Amazing.
Yeah. Ethan trying to double up.
Went off his first strike.
And he does. I think we witnessed his moxie last month in that roll-off with E.J. Tackett. Yeah, he did get a nice break, tripping a 2-pin in that 7-frame run with E.J., but, I mean, he was right there shot for shot and just left that ripper 7 to end the run, but he showed that he can show up in big moments.
Johnny Laspina, not the only one with Maple Lanes Lakeland.
Yeah, there's another guy there by the name of Amleto Monticello. You might have heard of him.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Amleto, Johnny helping Ethan along the way and down there in Lakeland, Florida with a watch party this afternoon. And how about this kid? Remember what EJ said to him after the roll-off? He said, you just earned the respect of everybody on this tour.
Yeah.
You're just not supposed to do this when you're 20. Looking to try to repeat what Kevin McCune did in 2023. Win this tournament for your first title.
And, oh, by the way, $100,000.
Oh, that ball just so bailed on him down lane.
Sure did. Looked as though it was tracking right. What happened here?
The numbers actually look pretty good, and then all of a sudden the ball just bails like somebody poured oil right in front of the pocket.
Randy, how do you explain that? It was just odd. How do you explain that?
Missed it again.
Oh, my. Brutal.
Ethan is way farther left. Could be pushing oil into that zone for Ryan Barnes, but now it's back-to-back missed 2 4-8s, one in the second frame and now here in the 6th. And now he trails by 30.
And a re-rack. Well, let's talk purse money. So second place, not too shabby. Whether you're 20 or 22 years of age, that's $50,000. And Tim Foy will walk away with $30,000. 20 and 15 for 4th and 5th. Started with 172 entrants in this event. Incredibly gruesome just to get here, and that's a nice bounce back for Ryan in the 7th, but now he needs Fiore to blink. Pair of top 12 finishes for Ethan in the World Series of Bowling. 8th in the Roth Holman doubles with Pete Virgo. 12th in the Scorpion.
Burgos. I know, they typed it wrong on your paper. I know, Pete.
Here it comes for Fiore, and Ethan is in that groove.
I coached Pete for many, many years, doubles partner to Ethan, and I saw Ethan for the first time last year when they bowled together in doubles. I would use the word impressive, but I don't think that's a big enough word to use describing Ethan Fiore and what he's doing here in the title match of the Players.
So calm, so cool, so collective, folks. I don't want to use the word boring, but when you're talking with him, to think that he's 20 and he's got this much maturity, it's like talking with a 40-year-old. He's just so even keeled.
I mean, if he didn't have the razor stubble, you'd think he's 12, right? Oh my goodness.
Man, this kid is spectacular.
Even talking with Ryan's dad, the Hall of Famer Chris Barnes, about Ethan, he said, make no mistake about it, this kid can flat out bowl. That is inside between 5th and 6th arrow with loft, and the trajectory to the right has to be spot on, and it has been for the last 5 straight. Ball change for Barnes. That one didn't bail.
No, it did not.
Hustle X-ray on the right. See what he does on the left if it's the same ball. But right now he's kind of in that mode where it's, I got to strike on every shot to have any chance. Ethan's in the 220s right now with that 5-bagger. And right now, Ryan Barnes in the 180s. You see the max scores, 214, 254. Must strike.
He did.
Gotta earn it. Let's go.
Gotta earn it is right. It's gonna make Ethan do it.
Legs. Use your legs.
Go.
Ooh. My goodness.
Good night. Yeah, it is a good night when there's 100K on the line. Cover the 10, and he does as we hit the 10th, but there's still pressure on.
If you're wondering who the youngest player to ever win a major, that still goes to Anthony Simonson. But at 20 years old, he needs a mark to win for the first time. That first win,
Go get it.
a major.
You want it? Go get it.
History in the making once again on the PBA Tour. Just incredible.
At 19 years and 39 days back in February of 2016.
You're talking Simo, right?
For Anthony
Yeah.
Simonson when he won the USBC Masters, and now Ethan Fiore at 20 years of age. And you know what Anthony's done? 5 major titles and already a legendary career, Hall of Fame career by 28. Ethan Fiore.
To punch his ticket to the main event at the Tournament of Champions next week.
A moment of glory for Fiore! Ethan Fiore at 20 years young, the Players' Champion. The moment of the match is brought to you by Pilgrims. Chicken can be boring, but Pilgrims is turning chicken nuggets upside down. I love it. You love it. Put it in a nugget.
Here's a nugget. This kid is phenomenal.
From roll-off history with Tackett to championship glory. Ethan Fiore, this is your time. This is your day. He turned pro at 17. He bet on himself. And now at 20 years of age, the youngest major champion since Anthony Simonson. And his name is Ethan Fiore.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I didn't think that he would be able to do what he did, playing that deep an angle and carving the lane that much. And I mean, his shot making was just absolutely on point. Incredible.
A third last year for Barnes at the Players. This year, runner-up. He's got championships in store for him. He's only 22.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, Ethan just did something that no other player was able to do today, playing the lanes like that.
One of one, $100,000 at the age of 20.
Incredible.
His first PBA Tour title is a major championship, a Players' Championship, and Kimberly is with us now with the presentation.
I'd like to introduce Chris Barnes, who is the president of the Players Committee, with the trophy presentation.
Well, Ethan, on behalf of the players and the PBA, I want very proud to present to you with this year's Players' Championship trophy. Congratulations. Great bowling.
Ethan, it's your first full season out on tour, and you are now a major champion. Put into words the joy of this win.
It's unbelievable. I couldn't expect it. Making the last show, I already surpassed my expectations for the year. I just wanted to make it through a couple PTQs and bowl in the main fields and see what I got for next year, but this is unbelievable. I'm just glad I got the win.
Well, let's talk about the match for a second here, because in that third frame you had that crazy split and then you had an open. What did you tell yourself in that moment to get yourself back on track, because then you started striking after that?
The main focus this week was just control the ball speed and use it all out of my legs, because the times that I didn't, the scores got a little lower. So we just kind of focused on making good shots and using my legs properly.
Now, not only do you have the trophy and you now have a title to your name, but you also have $100,000. So I got to ask, at 20 years old, what in the world are you going to do with that cash?
A new bed so I can sleep a little longer.
That sounds like perfection. Congratulations on your win.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, man.
Absolutely priceless.
A king bed.
Oh, my goodness. He's got to get one of those adjustables, right?
Absolutely. For the king player, as he gives David Small a handshake. Thank you, David Small, for having us this week at your Jack 60. A reminder that the PBA continues next weekend with the 5th and final major of the year, the PBA Tournament of Champions, powered by 1800 Tequila. Coverage begins Saturday at 5 Eastern, live on FS1 with the play-in round, all leading to the championship step-ladder finals next Sunday, 3 Eastern on Fox. From historic AMF Riviera Lanes in Fair Lawn, Ohio. Coming up next, it's Major League Soccer, Sporting Kansas City versus Portland Timbers. Randy Peterson, a pleasure to be with you, my friend.
Johnny, always a pleasure to be with you, and best of luck. Congratulations. New baby just around the corner, buddy, just a couple of weeks.
We can't wait. Ethan Fiore is your Players' Champion, and he's got a new bed and $100,000 coming his way. For our entire crew, you've been watching the PBA on Fox.